Cool, thank you. Well, first, thanks to you, Luc, and to the Iconic team for this event this evening. And thank you, Pauline, for the fantastic first talk you gave. I'm very happy to be here with you tonight. I will be talking about foundational research, in the context of product strategy. A little bit about myself. So yeah, here I am. I'm a design researcher, design strategist. I work at Studio Into, which is a user-centered research agency. We are present on the ground in over 50 countries, so we conduct research in the local language, across the world. So we have, a uniquely local approach, and our aim is really to empower innovation. So we look at behaviors in context, in their local settings, and then we analyze global patterns and influences to deliver, confidence and clarity for decision makers. And we're a small agency based in London, but we work typically with platform businesses, so, Google, Amazon, WhatsApp, and the likes. So, first of all, I'd like to ask you, who have had Instagram? Well, first, who has Instagram? And who has had it since before 2019? Okay, cool. Most of you here, so that's cool. So you're maybe familiar with that feature. I know maybe some of you at the back don't see it properly, but it's the following tab. I don't know if you remember that from before. So, that tab used to allow you to see the activity of the accounts you followed, and that way you could discover new content and also see, what your friends were engaging with on the platform. However, this tab was removed in 2019 due to several reasons. The first one was privacy concerns, because it was accused of encouraging stalking behaviors. So that was, obviously a problem. But also, lack of relevance, because the Explore tab was introduced in 2012, and along with it, algorithm-driven recommendations that users found more useful and more tailored to their needs. And also, there has been just a general change of user behavior when interacting with social media platforms. So many users over the years have preferred passive consumption of content, whereas maybe 10 years ago, they were quite keen to be more active on the platforms. So this short example is one out of, of many of how the shift in technology and user behavior and, product adoption can really impact quickly a product. So my question to you as, UX practitioners and UX researchers is really, how can we use foundational research and carry foundational research to navigate these evolving contexts and really mitigate the threats of, fast and constant change. So my talk this evening will be covering two main blocks. First one will be about foundational research and how to use it in the context of product strategy. And my second block, and I see actually there's a little two-first block. Anyway, it will be about how you can do that in an innovative way, and how you can leverage on tools that are already embedded in your research participants' lives to really stay close to your users while carrying that type of research. So first, short spotlight for those of you who are not like research practitioners necessarily, to really understand what I mean by foundational research. So, in UX you have, two types, I would say, of user research. You have foundational and tactical. So let me just quickly... Same problem as you. Sometimes it doesn't really... Yeah, cool. Let me just quickly go over these two so it's really quite clear for everyone here. So what we're trying to achieve with foundational research is really understand deep user needs, motivation, and behaviors in context. That's really important. You're really unpacking mental models and jobs to be done, whereas tactical research is really here more to evaluate usability and effectiveness and the user satisfaction of design solution. So on one hand, you have foundational research, which is very exploratory and very contextual, and it's really the methodologies of this type of research are really taking a 360 view of your user and their daily lives and their environment and the environment they evolve in. So looking at longitudinal, which is like research happening over time, behavioral, looking at users, looking at what they do, so attitudinal, looking at what they say they do. And you need to cover all of that to really be able to inform, mental models, jobs to be done, personas, end-to-end journeys. And so the typical methodology would be, in-depth interviews, digital diaries, ethnographic immersions, really to inform product strategy and, design direction. Whereas tactical research is much more concluding, much more like converging. It has, it's evaluative. Its aim is really to assess existing solutions. So for that you do usability testing, card sorting, A/B testing, surveys, and the outputs of this tactical research are much more about prioritizing features, assessing features, and informing the rest of the product team on usability and user stories. So one is really rooted in context, whereas the other one, you could say it's more like the context is drier. It's more like in lab. Sorry. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is just a quick recap slide on what are we trying to achieve with foundational research. So to me, foundational research is really a compass to seek where the opportunities are. So you have your user at the center, and all the influences around them. So sociological, technological, economical, political shift, and all of these influence your users. And you're looking, you're trying to stay close to your users so you can mitigate the amplitude of these shifts for your design solutions. Cool. Okay. Little side step on future-facing strategy products. Sorry, and what I mean by that. So in the context, when you're looking at your user needs and trying to come up with what products to build next to answer these needs, you're looking at different blocks for that. You're looking at what product to build, but also the market, the state of the market, your customer, your target user, and also what your company can do and their internal capabilities. And when you carry foundational research, you can really mitigate some uncertainties that come with that definition. Digital products that are yet to be built are really prone to technological disruption and market evolution and shift in user behavior. So this type of research and type of approach, because it's long-term and strategic, let me just go back. Yeah, cool. Because it's long-term and strategic, you can really de-risk market and technological evolutions. And you can also build a very deep empathy with your users, which then allows you to reduce the amplitude of behavioral shifts. So that's why it's really beneficial when you're building and trying to envision what products to build next. and when things are still undefined. So how do you build a framework, for that type of research? I think to answer, the challenges of evolving context, a foundational research framework should be dynamic, and by that I mean capturing digital data that can change based on user behavior. It should also be multimodal, so capturing multi-formats of data. That's really important, and I'm going to touch on that in a couple of slides. And also nimble, and what I mean by that is low cost and integrated into the life of your users. Because what's really important here to understand is that you want to look at your user in context, in their daily lives, and how do they go about things on a very mundane daily basis. And for that, you need to be really embedded and really close to them. So the benefits of that is, because it's dynamic, you can stay relevant in evolving contexts. Because you're capturing different formats of data, you can really adapt quickly to new behaviors. Like a few years back, you wouldn't have asked your research participant to share a voice note, for instance, but now it's fairly commonplace. So these kind of behaviors and how people interact with technology changes so much and so quickly over time, so fast over time, that it's really important that you're opening up the doors to capturing multi-formats. And also the fact that it's nimble allows you to really be super engaging with your research participants, but also super inclusive, because you can then carry this type of research across, the spectrum of digital literacy, of geographies, going in countries where maybe you have a low digital literacy rates, or you can also carry this type of research with hard to reach audiences. So again, it's really important that it's very, very low cost and integrated in their lives. A little spotlight I wanted to do on this multimodal aspect. I think being able to share multiple formats like voice memos or videos and images and all types of formats really helps to provide rich contextual insights. Some cues and emotions are difficult to articulate in words, so sharing visual and auditory formats really helps to convey these feelings that might be difficult to articulate otherwise. It really maintains engagements throughout your research, because it adds an element of creativity for the research participants. So they really feel empowered to express themselves, and they typically find it quite fun and engaging. And also it helps build empathy with your users. So when you're socializing your findings, your research finding, it's very powerful to illustrate what you wanna share. So you can communicate your insights, your stakeholders much more effectively. Okay. So second part of my talk: how can you apply this framework to day-to-day research projects? Let's have a look at I've taken here the example of a digital native user, like typically millennial or Gen Z, and created like a very succinct map of the tools they might be using and interacting with on a daily basis. You can see, some of them are for entertainment, gaming, shopping, social media, or finance. And I suggest, if you want to use this framework, you start by looking at your user and look at the ecosystem of tools they're using. Because that way you can really find tools that are embedded in their lives. And I suggest, that you use content creation and social media tools to conduct research, because then it really empowers your participants to express themselves and to embrace the research in a very engaged way. So I'm going to give, 2 examples of how to use these tools. I'm going to do one example on Instagram and how and why you should use that in that type of research. And I'm going to also give an example of WhatsApp, and again, how you can leverage on the app to conduct this type of research. Yeah. So my first example is Instagram. What's good about Instagram is, well, like WhatsApp, it's, extremely widespread, like I think 2 billion users across the world. It's very engaging, and it's strongly embedded in the lives of millennials. And I think it's a very good tool to do adapted focus groups. And, again, it's not a tool that is used across demographics, but it's very good for millennials and to some extent Gen Z, although a lot of people are migrating to other content creation apps. And I think using the live feature, on the mobile app is the best way to carry this research. And you can set up, of course, it's a focus group, so you'll have to do like, you have to set aside a dedicated amount of time for your research participants to join and interact during the group. But it can happen throughout the day, maybe at lunchtime or in the evening, when typically when these users will scroll and will consume content. So how would you go about using this tool to carry foundational research? You would typically just set up an Instagram profile, and ask your research participants to follow you, and you would organize a live on Instagram. And what's great about these lives is that you can really encourage your participants to share visual content. But also you can use like live question and answers or live story polls, live polls, sorry, to stimulate engagement and and really enhance comprehension and really deep dive into the nuances you want to cover in your focus group. And yeah, so the objectives are really to collect attitudinal qualitative data like feelings, beliefs, and emotion. And again, you can make the session really engaging and playful using this tool because it's so strongly familiar with your user group, and because well, it's a very extremely engaging tool. So. And my second example is how you can use WhatsApp. And WhatsApp, I really recommend you use it for digital diaries and not so much for focus group or other qualitative methodologies. The power of WhatsApp when we are talking about carrying this type of research is really that WhatsApp is used by anyone. Well, again, I think it's 2 billion active users, but users across the world use WhatsApp. Of course, digital natives do, but also low digital literacy, hard to reach audiences use it as well. And what's really good about it as well is that it is used across age groups. You can have younger people, but also much older people using WhatsApp, and that's really powerful because that's not the case to so many of these tools. Yeah, and what's really good about it, and why I think it's great for digital diaries, is because you can use it on the go, in any daily life context. So your participants can be reminded of tasks, whether they go shopping or whether they commute or spend time with their family, and they can just participate in the research during multiple touch points in their lives through this tool. And what's really good as well about WhatsApp, I find, is that beyond what I just stated, and the fact that it's extremely simple to use and used across age groups and across the world, is that you can also use surveys, the survey feature of the app, as a really fast data collection tool, which allows you to then collect numerical data and score super quickly. So, typically, same as Instagram, you would, set up a group or a community, depending on how big your research sample is, and add your research participants in it. And then you can engage them with, tasks they have to do, and again, like, encourage them, welcome them to share, notes, voice notes, and images and videos. But also, you can super quickly set up these polls, and that way collect some scoring as well. So then you can, mix number-based evidence with qual insight to make it really, really powerful. Yeah. And I, on purpose, gave a short. Where is Luke? To maybe, I don't know if we can have questions, or maybe now is the break, I don't know.
Really early.
What do you think? Can we have questions? Or?
Absolutely, yeah, we've got time for questions.
Cool.
We finished about 5 or 10 minutes early, so I'm just going to grab a handheld. Just test this one quickly. Okay, cool. So just check the time to see how long we've actually got. We've got quite a lot of time. So put your hand up if you want to ask a question. I'm going to go, I will come to you. I'll come to this one quickly first because it's easier, and then I'll come to you second.
Thank you for the presentation. The first thing that came to my mind was, how do you navigate the GDPR regulations using these platforms for research?
All your research participants sign, an NDA before they are engaged. They are taken on board. So all the details, of their personal data and all of that is covered by that. So it's that way you can just use it directly without, side questions around GDPR. Does that answer your question?
In a way, yes. But what about like sensitive data? Like if someone discloses they've got a disability, or I don't know, sexual orientation or something on a platform like that, like how do you manage this data if it's not on like a dedicated research platform?
Again, in the NDA that you have them sign, you just detail that. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, could we stick to the microphones quickly because it's being recorded and no one can hear it on the things. But there's a person here that has another question, so I can jump to you if you put your hand up and give you the microphone. Sorry.
Hi, yeah, it's a very creative way of doing research and it looks really fun. My question's sort of related to the previous person who asked the question, and that's around the ethical implications of conducting research in this way. And I understand what you're saying about GDPR, but there's also the ethical implications within the group themselves. So how do you manage that on top of Instagram, depending on the privacy settings, also being open to the public, and sort of anonymity, etc. How are the ethics of the research managed on these platforms?
Yeah, for Instagram, you can have like a closed, choose your research participants and have it as a closed group without it being public. And I think for WhatsApp as well, you always have your moderator anyway, throughout the data collection, that is there as well to safeguard the space and just, if there's any sensitive information shared, like beyond what is supposed to be discussed, is also there to just make sure the boundaries are set.